Hello, welcome, Cabbage here. In War of the Visions Global, let's pull for Esther. And I did pull last week, just, a few hours after she was released. And then I recorded my face, and the audio for that video. But I went back and I watched it and I didn't like what I was saying. So I deleted it and then I re-recorded myself and then I didn't like it again. So I'm going to give it a third try here. And the reason why I was never happy with what I was saying was because I wanted to talk about something in addition to pulling, or talk about something as I was pulling. And then with the live stream that will be tomorrow in JP, that will give me kind of a framework within to speak. I can talk about what I would like to see for a 2.5 anniversary of the JP version. And what I want is also very related to why I have not been playing this game lately. So I can explain that, or a part of that, lightly. And then I can also talk about the ways in which a player leaves a game. This is not to say that I'm leaving the game. But I've made a lot of videos that are talking about kind of big picture stuff when it comes to mobile games. And I've talked about many topics, but one that I haven't talked about in light of War of the Visions is how a player leaves a game, so we can talk about that last. Okay, but we can start the tape. I got my vision ore, and then I went into the Mog shop, and then I saw this ticket, which I can turn in for Esther. I need the 200 coins, and there are various types of banners and step-ups where you only need to get or spend 36 vision ore in order to get this ticket. So let's have a look at the banners and then see what I need to pull there. But for 2.5 anniversary, there's one thing really that I want, and that is a new game mode or modes of high difficulty PvE. The reason why I want that is because I think that would be the most interesting thing to me. I've lost all interest in PvP. Sorry, I'm not making those arena showcase videos anymore. And then other stuff like the 3-star Esper fights, it's too easy now. And then, the Nightmare difficulty, I don't find those fun. And then raids are still fun, I do enjoy those, but they're also kind of easy. And then mindless at a certain point. And then a selection quest, I did beat a bunch of them, and they do have fun rewards. They're my favorite content in the game right now. But I feel like I've gotten it, and even if I got the characters and the weapons from the plus quests, where would I use them? In PvP? No. So yeah, what I would like is more high difficulty PvE content. Okay, we're pulling the 5-step for the vision card, and I got Omega there on the first step, so I'll take that. Oh, new character. We got Mashiri, okay. Fortitudinous. And yeah, I have a bunch of problems with PvE, the PvE game in War of the Visions. And part of it is just because the developers aren't putting as much effort into it as they could. And the reason for that is because they're able to sustain the game on sales driven by PvP, which is actually kind of rare for a Japanese mobile game. So yeah, kudos to the developers for making that happen, because that's not easy to do in Japan. But that does mean that PvE suffers as a result. And then there's another problem that I have with the gameplay. I'm just not a giant fan of the isometric tactics gameplay. I think I mentioned this in a video even before War of the Visions was released. But I'm kind of old school. I guess I'm more of a fan of the boss faces this way and your party faces this way. And then there's the active time battle system. And yeah, that's like the classic Final Fantasies. or Brave Exvius, or Near Reincarnation. That's actually what that is at heart. And like, as much as I like and then respect the games like Tactics Ogre or Final Fantasy Tactics, I don't know if I would ever go back and play either of them again, just because the gameplay don't love. You know, I love the world and the story and the music and the characters and all that, and I love like messing around in the menus, you know, fiddling with guys, but the actual battle don't love. And then playing this game, War of the Visions, at least the way that it's presented now, I really came to understand sort of the limitations, like gameplay-wise, of the isometric tactics gameplay. Alright, we got Jiza there. Still haven't got her Trustmaster, so that's good. But like, just to kind of illustrate why I feel this way, Sakura, when she was released in War of the Visions, that was kind of a big epiphany for me. In Brave Exvius, the two versions of her, the first two, kind of the regular one and then the Halloween version, they were both so interesting, with like various types of support abilities that were like, you know, niche or weird, but they were so interesting and like good that you could slot them into many different teams, or you could even enable certain teams that you wouldn't be able to otherwise. And yeah, I had a lot of fun using both of those characters. But when they announced Sakura for War of the Visions, I was like, oh, maybe she'll be a very interesting support character in this game as well. And then maybe it will kind of signal the beginning of like the deepening of the breadth of the gameplay of the game, or widening of the width, whatever you want to call it. But then when she was released, she was just an attacker with like an AoE element resistance buff. So that was disappointing, and then the game kind of kept on that narrow gameplay path. And like, even now, over 2 years into the game, Sadari, he was released in JP. He's maybe the most interesting support character to come out recently, and still, he's kind of built in order to counter a certain meta in PvP, so that's disappointing. I've said all this before, but like the maps in War of the Visions, not very inspiring. It's like I want more interaction. Like there was that Tower EX stage where one of the things you could do was you could rush across the map and then hit a switch before like one of the enemy characters would hit a switch, and then it would like benefit you in some way. And that was a lot of fun. And it made you think differently about team building. It made you kind of value different types of characters, or different moves that you wouldn't use otherwise, like the Poison Cloud from Ninja. So I really enjoyed that stage, and there's been like nothing like it since then. Like all of the quest complete parameters, it's always the same one, which is just kill everybody. But if they could get more imaginative with it, like, you know, go over here, grab this item, bring it back over here, or like, you know, occupy this space with this number of characters for a certain amount of time, or escort this NPC from one side to the other, or something more interesting than just attacking. I think that would really spice up the gameplay for me. And then, like, enemy-wise, I feel that's lacking too. Like, a lot of the challenge that comes from PvE and War of the Visions is just tons of guys thrown at you. And then, like, multiple waves and stuff. It's not very clever or, like, challenging. It's hard, but it's not challenging. There's a difference there. There's a level of interest there. Okay, but I did pull Zazan a few pulls back. All of the other global festival units are in here, so I don't have any of them, so if I get any of them, I might want to consider slow building them. So yeah, there's all these things that I want, PvE-wise. I want, like, higher difficulty Esper quests. I want selection quests for UR units. I want more interesting map interactions. I want more interesting, like, boss fights, where, I don't know, just to pull from Brave Exvius, but like just one big boss, no like tons of little guys surrounding them. And then like a really complex like attack pattern. I think a lot of people complained that they didn't like that it took an encyclopedia to beat a boss in Brave Exvius. I loved that. I thought it was so interesting. Because I saw like, it's like trying to walk across a tightrope, but there's no right way to walk across the tightrope. And so a lot of the fun of Brave Exvius was to put together a team. And then, if you know me, you know I like to use kind of weird, underrated characters. And then if I could get a clear with that very kind of unconventional team or underrated characters, that was very satisfying for me. That was a good gaming experience. There is nothing comparable to that in War of the Visions. So yeah, my bar is high. I want to believe that the developers are aware of all this and they're simply just holding it back because they're having enough success with PvP. But I also wonder if, like, maybe there's a part of the design of the game which is kind of limiting how much they can do with high difficulty PvE. But like, you know, AP and TP, those can be refreshed during battle. But number of uses of skills cannot be refreshed. So like you use a skill twice, it's gone forever. Maybe people that have played selection quests have been in situations where like characters completely run out of skills and then can't do anything except for like items and like regular attacks. And so yeah, maybe that's kind of creating like an artificial ceiling for how difficult PvE, high difficulty PvE can get. But maybe they could implement something where, like, for this quest, there's no limit to number of uses for skills. That might be something that could raise the ceiling. Okay, so I think I went through the 9-step for Esther, did not pull her. So we'll go into the regular banner. And then I think I need to do 6 10 shots in order to get enough coins to go to the ceiling. And then when you pull for a lower rarity unit, like a 0.4, a limited unit, you really have to go into it assuming that you're going to go to the ceiling. I've seen the stats for it, and it's like less than 50% chance, even if you go all the way to the ceiling, so yeah. And I don't like that. I wish they would release fewer lower rarity units. And this last month in JP, they released 2 units in a row that were that lower pull rate, the cost 100. So, yeah, I don't like the direction of the game in that sense. Where was I? Yes, waiting for high difficulty PvE. I'm not going to quit the game because what I want is not in the game. I've been around the block enough times that I know that the stuff is probably coming, so I can just wait. You know, if I don't play, you know, I'll miss like the rotating weapons or whatever farming that comes around, but I'm fine with just waiting. And if, you know, that type of content does not come with the 2.5 anniversary, I can wait for the 3rd anniversary, or maybe whatever it is that they do beforehand. Whenever they release like a higher tier of like some kind of like a weapon or a character or something, there's always people that complain. A lot of people complain when they added the trust stones to the game. But the thing is that, you know, people, a lot of players, longtime players especially, they get to a point where they don't have anything to do. I'm kind of at that point. And so when they add that new stuff, it's for those longer term players. New players are not expected to touch that stuff anytime soon. And also, this is a very kind of a Japanese player kind of mindset, but like they often say that they feel sad when they finish, like perfect a character, because that means that they can't spend any more time or resources on them. And that's another reason why they keep adding stuff. Trust stones, that could be another thing that you could use to, modify a character. Build a specific trust master for them. Alright, here's Fravia. It was a little weird that she just kept walking. She didn't stop to make a pose or anything. But yeah, I've pulled a bunch of Global Fest units and not getting Esther. And we're also getting these pop-up, premium packs offered for pulling the character. I've seen some people get offended, personally offended, that they offer that. It's not that hard to ignore those. Oh, and then, and so yeah, my playing of the game has dropped off. But I'll continue to cover like bigger like news events or bigger releases. Like live streams, I'll keep live blogging those. If they're interesting, I'll do like sum up videos. If there's a new system, like the Trust Stones system, might make some videos about that. But yeah, as for playing, I'm waiting for that higher level PvE. Okay, I think we're on our last 10 shot. Still no Esther. Alright, last chance. Oh, I totally forgot to talk about the ways that a player can leave the game. I don't have a lot of time left. I see 3 ways that a player can leave a mobile game. One is the player plays until termination of service. In that case, you could call that a stalemate between the user and the company. And then the last 2 ways. One is if a player feels like the game has kind of gotten everything from them. Like they feel like cheated, or they feel taken advantage of, or like they're fed up with something and so they quit from that. And I think that's a very, very kind of prevalent mindset for people to take from the global side. But what I see much more often in the JP side, and what I try to teach to global players, is players, they get everything they can out of the game. And then they leave, like, grateful for what they got. What made me want to talk about this topic was on Reddit. I saw a thread saying, somebody was like, I am quitting the game, how do I go out on top? And a lot of people had like suggestions for like, blow all your vision orbs to upgrade the guild statues, or beat all the selection quests or something like that. But that's all in-game stuff. Usually when I talk about mobile games, I think about big picture stuff. And my advice to the person was, look back, think about what you enjoyed about the game, be mindful, be grateful. If you're grateful to certain people, tell them that you're grateful. And I think that's the better, healthier way to leave a mobile game than to just feel like bitter and like you were cheated. So yeah, hopefully, people can get a more positive experience out of leaving a game. Okay, here I am showing off my account after 75 days. There's been quite a few days where I have not logged in, but all of the characters, UR characters that I started the account on, Noctis, Oberon, Salia, Prompto, and Rain, I took them to max level 115. And then Thancred and Locke, I have enough shards to take them to 99. I don't actually know how many Mind Spheres I have for them. Lucio and Mont I'm working on, and then I'm working on the MR tanks. So, yeah, that's what my account's looking like here. Okay, that will do it for the polls. Let's favorite Esther here. Had to go to the ceiling, no surprise there. And yeah, I don't know anything about her. Have not done any research or watched any videos, so maybe I will look into her kit later and then do a review of her and her vision card. Alright, thanks for watching, and we'll see you again. Take care.